My last breath was taken just now. I've breathed again. In any case, James Newman is singing the song My Last Breath at Eurovision 2020. He is singing for the UK. He was handpicked by the BBC and BMG, which gave all of us great hope. And then the song came out. Should we talk about it?
Let's do this.
You guys, when I heard that BMG was gonna play a hand in helping the BBC choose an artist and song for Eurovision 2020, I was super excited. I remained excited when the rumor emerged that James Newman was likely the singer. He's got a great voice. I think he's down to earth. He's not one of these divas. He's a musician of the people. Really love that. Follow him on Instagram. I love his takeaway orders. He has high-end food delivery. Let me tell you, I've been watching him very closely lately. In any case, the song.
If we were deep sea divers and no one came to find us, if you had nothing left, I'll give you my last breath. Oh, I'll give you my last.
I've just Googled synonyms for beige. A pale sandy fawn color. Synonyms include camel, cream, khaki, off-white, tan, taupe, and biscuit. Well, you know what? A biscuit is much more appetizing than this song. Okay, this is so safe that it's boring. I think in the first minute there is a lot of promise, but then the song just loops. It literally loops. There's not a key change, there's not a bridge. It just kind of repeats over and over. The music video, they're like, oh, here's an idea. Let's get a famous Dutch kind of adventure sportsman explorer and put him shirtless at the beginning of the video. You know, he's like, no offense, but he's an older gentleman. That's not necessarily the best way to appeal to a young audience you struggle to reach. I'm just not sure what the logic was here. Apparently, he's one of James Newman's favorite outdoor explorers. Woohoo, that makes a great song. I'm sorry, you can't build a song around that. You know what, my favorite ice cream is caramel. I'm not gonna sing no song called Caramel. Of course, if it was Chili Pepper, you would have a song called Chili Pepper in Belarus. In any case, all I wanna say is this. He sounds great. I think the video is beautiful in its own way. I think separated from Eurovision, it's interesting to have this explorer. But as an overall Eurovision package, it's too middle of the road. You might as well get some white paint and put it right down the middle of the stage. Okay? Because this is middle of the road, Ed.
The thing is, it is not a bad song. It is actually a well-written song. You know, the melody is good. The production is not bad. The vocals are really good. But there is just nothing to make you remember it. You know, give me anything. I think it needed maybe some sort of brass post-instrumental, maybe a banjo. And it also finishes so abruptly. It's about 2 minutes, 35 seconds or something. It's really short. They had this time they could have done something. You know, they could have had some Yorkshire tap dance. I don't really know what you could do to make it interesting, but there was promise here. Like, they did get a good song, but the problem with the BBC is they always choose nice songs and they never kind of risk it. They never do something that says vote for me. And the thing is, there are much worse songs this year that will end up getting higher placings because they may be divisive, but at least there's something in it that says vote for me. Whereas this, you'll listen to it and you'll be like, yeah, this is okay. But at no point will you be like, oh my God, I'm voting for this. Whereas even bad songs such as, I shall not name them, Armenia, will get their niche and will get votes. So, you know, it's not an awful effort, but the BBC just needs to change their priority and it needs to be memorable for once. Por favor.
I do enjoy the song. It's at least a step up from last year. So that's one positive going for it. It's a solid pop song that knows what it's trying to deliver. I don't mind the sort of 2 minute 30 length so much because at least it doesn't drag on any longer than it needs to. which is trying to be a positive thing, because at least then people aren't reaching for the skip button in the last 30 seconds, and they might be more inclined to listen to it again and be interested in it. I do agree that it's probably still far too safe to do any damage on a Eurovision scoreboard. It's obviously hard being a UK Eurovision fan and trying to, drum up support every year for these songs that, for me, have never reached the top half of my personal rankings since I've been a Eurovision fan, really. I'm glad to see the BMG BBC partnership. I am intrigued to see where it goes next. I think they realise that this is a long-term project. They're not just in it for 1 year and then they're going to be out and whatever the result. They are in it for the long haul. They want to do well. They want to make these changes and find the songs that will captivate an audience. So I'm remaining hopeful for the years to come.
I think a lot of people's perceptions is based on the timing, that if this song had come out in 2016, the year after Electro Velvet, everybody would be like, oh wow, this is such a step up, this is great. Whereas now it's just kind of like, do you know in Pokemon where you have the monsters and they evolve from kind of a smaller version into a slightly more polished version? So it's like Michael Rice has evolved into James Newman. It's a more expensive version of last year's song. And it is current. It sounds very like Dermot Kennedy and Gavin James and those kind of singers that are all over the radio. And it does have bits going. I think the My Last Breath bit, some people find it very annoying. I think it's kind of endearing in a way. I feel that it is a missed opportunity to have a song that's 2 minutes and 38 seconds or whatever rather than 3 minutes, because often is the case that we hear songs from Albania or Italy and they're already 4 minutes and they're trying to cut them down. This song is trying to stretch them. And I feel that it is a terrible waste to have a man who's written for Ed Sheeran. He's written for Calvin Harris. He's written #1 hits for his brother. He's written #1 hits for Rudimental. He knows how to write big songs. He knows how to write songs that top the charts. And why, oh why, has he decided for his debut single to pick something that is perfectly nice, but it's nowhere near his best work? And it's very strange because a lot of the time in Eurovision, when I see a big name attached to a song, I'd say, oh, they gave that song away because it's not their best work and they'll keep the best stuff for themselves. Whereas James seems to be giving all his good stuff away and keeping the all-surrounds. And it's just strange. And I don't know the whole thing. Like, it's not an awful song. I think if this had been coming out of some of the other countries, if it had come out of Moldova or Ireland or some of those middling enough countries, North Macedonia, people might like it more, but people expect a lot from the UK. And this is underwhelming in that sense.
Let us not insult other countries. I'm sorry, no matter what country sent this, it would not make an impact. The problem is people are so concerned about pleasing everyone that they end up pleasing very few. You need to be true to... This is a good lesson for life. I'm sorry. You need to be true to yourself because people can kind of sense if something isn't totally authentic, or they can sense if you're trying to please everyone. When in reality, you just gotta do your thing. Cardi B offends a ton of people, but she's won over a lot of fans because she is so true. And, she's just making music. She doesn't care if it offends anyone. I mean, you could even apply the same idea to Lady Gaga to some extent. To Madonna back in the day. It's just artists creating music they like. I'm sure James likes this, but does he love this? It's just too safe, vanilla, beige biscuit. We've been down this road before. It sounds like a song you would write for a broadcaster as opposed to a song you would write for yourself. And I think so many of the best songs at Eurovision don't even start out life as Eurovision songs. They're just great songs. Just look at Italy. All of those songs, literally all of them in Sanremo, they're there for Sanremo, not for some other song competition. It's about music. And I just think, I don't feel like that was the case here. I feel like it almost feels because it's so safe, it almost feels corporate, like it was approved by a bunch of bureaucrats as opposed to being created by an artist. And that's just unfortunate because there's a lot of talent here. There's a great voice. It's just, I'm sorry, for me, the song has no more breath because it's dead on arrival. Okay, let's go around and give our scores out of 10 along with the justification. Ed.
Well, do you know what? I do think it is a good, pleasant song, and I give it a 7 out of 10. It is not a bad song by any means, but it does feel like the UK have been like, okay, James, we're going to Eurovision. Europe has awful taste in music. Choose something really bland that's going to please everyone, and we're going to win. And it sounds like that has been their brief for the UK for the past decade. Yeah. And do you know what? I just need them to spice it up a bit. I just, send something that isn't pop. Send something new, send something edgy. I know there's a good team in the BBC, but they need Eurovision experts to be helping them select the song, because year after year, it is just so forgettable, and it's better to be memorable and controversial than pleasant but forgettable. So, I sound negative. This is a good song. 7 out of 10. Well-written song. This is a step in the right way. They haven't bought a song from Sweden. But next time, excite me.
Yeah, this is a 6.5 for me. I do enjoy the song. I'm quite happy to listen to it. It's not one of the ones that I've instantly deleted from my, Eurovision 2020 playlist. I think, we've pretty much covered it. It is just a bit too safe. And hopefully, once BMG have, seen the response to this song and they've, been able to do a bit more work, seen how Eurovision works, then hopefully they can come back next year and really wow us.
Just going back to Ed's point briefly, if the BBC is watching, I just caution them against putting Eurovision experts on their panels, because the BBC's definition of Eurovision experts leaves a lot to be desired. For example, when this song was being revealed, they had some random man ring in and his favourite songs were Waterloo and Euphoria, and that was the height of his expertise. I would advise them to ditch whoever's on their call book for their BBC 3 coverage or their Radio 1 coverage or any of that kind of stuff, and just get music industry experts, because they want a hit. A Eurovision song, most of them, whether they're a hit in the charts or a hit on the radio or a hit with people in general without going mainstream, they need to appeal to people. So if they just get record industry people in who'd say, this is a good song, people will buy this, people will listen to this. Saying all that, I'm giving this a 6.5.
Do you remember on the day of the reveal, so I was flying somewhere, but I remember people said that Greg James, when he introduced the song, he said something to the effect of, oh gosh, why am I even playing this? If one of your own DJs doesn't want it to be on the radio, it's probably not a song that will do well at Eurovision. Do you know what I'm saying? You want a song that's a radio hit. He would not have been embarrassed to play Luca Hani's She Got Me, because that sounds, you can call it generic, but it's a radio hit, and it has been a hit all over the place. Honestly, just check with your own people to get a sense of whether something is good. It's not that hard. Just go to the, knock, knock, knock. Hey, I work down the hall. Does this slay? No, okay. Is easy. In any case, I hate to do this because the video looks very expensive. The man can sing. There's effort here. There's thought with the BMG connection. But at the end of the day, I have to take Ed's 7, divide it by 2, and I end up with a 3.5. This is my number 41 of Eurovision 2020. And this is not because I hold the UK to a higher standard. It's not. It's because I think this song, it's just not high impact enough. Even Estonia, as dated as it is, at least I remember the hook, and I'm often going da 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 da. Whereas with this one, I would go my last breath, but instead it's my last, then I gotta wait, breath. It's just not working for me on any level, and it pains me because I would love the UK to win Eurovision and slay and have a great time here in London, but if this is the momentum that we have, I don't see it happening in 2021. In any case, we are not the only Wiwibloggs. They are all over the world, and they have also given their scores, and when we take the global average, it comes out to a, drum roll please, 6.08. So this clearly has its fans. That means people rated this above a 6 like Ed, so it must have had a few 7s.
The thing is, yeah, it's no one is going to absolutely detest it, but I doubt that many people gave it more than a 7.5.
Yeah, in any case, that's what we think. What do you think? Does this make you want to pull out your Union Jack and wave it? Let us know here on Wiwibloggs.
Don't forget to give us a like down there.
Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when our next videos are coming out.
And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere else where you can find Wiwibloggs.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.